Hello and welcome back to another video, and today finally we are back with another episode of MotoGP 22 Career Mode, and today we are here for the 4th and 5th rounds of our Moto2 season at COTA and Portimao. Now before we do get into it, I do want to just say a big sorry just for how long it's been between videos. I've just been so busy. I've also had COVID as well, which I am okay by the way, and I was relatively okay over it, but even still I didn't really feel up to recording videos, which was a shame because it was actually during the time I'd allocated to record videos for you guys. But we are back now. I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent. Once, maybe twice a week is my minimum going for, and hopefully we can get some more career mode for you guys. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since the last episode, so if you haven't seen that, go and check it out, of course, first. But if you have seen it and you can't remember what happened, we'll quickly refresh your memory. So we had a good battle at Argentina, wet qualifying, so we started a bit further down. But in the race, we had so much more pace, managed to carve my way through, past Bobier from about half a second behind, and then absolutely cleared off. The AI did not see which way we went, which has put us back in the lead of the Riders' Championship. Now, the next race, of course, is Austin, a track that's been pretty good for us in the past compared to the AI, so we're heading to the weekend. Not sure how they're going to be in Moto2, but I guess we'll find out. So then, at the end of the first free practice session, as you can see, Marcel Schrotter is top of the timesheets ahead of the two Grassini bikes in second and third position. However, I was actually top of the session when I ended it, and you can see they've jumped a few tenths ahead, and it's riders you wouldn't really expect to be up there as well. So I think the simulated times are maybe a couple of tenths off at this track. I think the real pace is sort of myself and CANET downwards. We just managed to beat CANET's time right at the end of the session. Well, there's about 20 minutes to go, but in terms of my running, we didn't have a too successful session in terms of the research data. It's such a long circuit. I didn't really want to do race pace because that's 5 whole laps at this circuit. Long lap penalty as well, that was difficult, and I was just struggling to hit the times. The AI do seem on the pace. I'm struggling a lot with the bike as well. It almost feels like I have no engine braking going into the corners. It's really, really bizarre. I think I did note something similar in Argentina, but it seems to be either a recurring bug or caused by the fact the bike is just not upgraded. I'm not 100% sure with that one. So hopefully we should go straight through to qualifying 2 with that time, but as you can see, 6 tenths off the top time. I'm not too sure. FP2 is dry, FP3 is wet, so we should be okay, but I guess I'll have to find out. So no, I actually wasn't good enough to go through, not even close. You can see we're here in qualifying 2, and we're right down the back, just in front of Zonta, Antonelli, and Lorenzo Dalla Porta. So we are going to really have a tricky old time to get out of this session, I'm not going to lie. Which, it's a bit of a shock, because I did expect to sort of come here with really, really good pace, but I do actually remember back on MotoGP 21, the AI at this track, in the qualifying at least, were absolutely phenomenal, and I really struggled to beat them. So that could be the case again here. I'm going to go soft. I don't know if that's really the correct tyre choice for this track, because it's just so heavy braking, start-stop. So the softs might not really work too well for it. But we'll give it a go. If not, we can always use the mediums, because I think this is going to be our main session, to be honest. I think we are going to probably struggle to get out of this one. So you can actually see that Schrotter is in this session himself. So Schrotter, the guy that was actually top of FP1, is in this session. The AI only had one session to improve as well, which would have been FP2, because FP3 was actually wet. FP2 was cloudy like this. But yeah, it is a little bizarre. I think there may be a simulated times issue here, because I was out for most of the session. The AI weren't, well actually they were quicker than me, but it was only on the straights and out of the slow corners. They just have so much more power basically. I was actually keeping up with them through the corners, so it just bode pretty well for us, especially in race trim. We are going to have to probably use a little bit of Power 3 in the race though to try and account for it. We do have the advantage of the race starts. We do know that AI are quite poor on those. I haven't mentioned this yet though, but obviously you can see we've got the Moto2 update now, which we didn't have in the previous episode, so we've got some nice new liveries which look really, really nice. Right, so coming into the last corner, I've got Sean Dillon Kelly just in front of him, using him as a little bit of a marker. Although, honestly, I'm a bit close to him, almost lost the rear. Don't lose my lap. I thought I was going to go on the green and lose it immediately. Well, it's probably ruined my lap somewhat. We have got at least a bit more of a gap to Sean Dillon Kelly, though, this time. So we shouldn't catch him as easily. Although, having said that, we've almost immediately caught him. Just coming out the last corner, up towards the line. What's this time going to be? 207, 208, 208.2, which is 1.2 seconds quicker than what Alcoba's done. Definitely lap time of the weekend for me. So the soft tyres, Power 3 working. I did find a little workaround during the lap as well to my engine braking issues, and it does really reaffirm to me that there is an issue with the engine braking on the bike. Because I'm having to... Basically, I'm actually going down the box, basically all the way to first, back up the box, then back down the box, just to keep getting that benefit of the engine braking, because it basically feels like you've got the clutch in unless you've literally just gone down the gears, so... Yeah, it's a little bit weird. But either way, we managed to pass Sean Dillon Kelly in the first sector. He didn't hold me up or anything. So it was a little bit ill-fated to actually use him as a marker, but didn't really seem to affect me in the end. I think that should be good enough to go through a second clear. I may stay on track just to play it safe, because it does seem like the AI simulated times are a little bit dodgy. So at the end of the session then, you can see that AI did close up a little bit. Ferdinand Aldeguer only 4 attempts off in the end. But that was good enough to go through. I'm actually a bit surprised. I've got a bit more pace in the locker than I thought, because I struggled to do a 209, I'm pretty sure, in free practice. So to do a 208, I'll absolutely take that one. That is a pretty decent lap time. So heading to qualifying 2 now then. I could see us fighting for pole. I'm not sure exactly where we are pace-wise, but we'll fight for something decent, because obviously we're leading the championship, so we need to get a good result. So it's worth noting that the balance in the championship may change slightly in this episode, because obviously, like I said before, we have got the patch on now, which we didn't have a few weeks ago, and that should have changed the AI performance as well, some of the riders. So it will be interesting to see how the AI are. I believe our closest rivals in the championship are Chantra and Fernandez should still be pretty strong, but Chantra may have dropped off a little bit, so it will be worth noting how they get on in this session and in the race. We'll do the same strategies before. Soft just about seems to work. It is about gone after the lap, but it does seem to work, so we'll go for that one once again. I was going to say I might get a little tow, but we've got Vietti right behind us here. He's going to go through us because the AI go quicker in the pit lane. And we've actually got probably a perfect tow. Vietti not actually been too strong so far in the career, but again, balance of power may have shifted. He probably will be a bit stronger, because of course it is a few... Well, I mean, he's still basically leading the championship in real life, but it is a few races outdated, the performance patch, and obviously was leading by quite a way at one point, so I imagine he's probably one of the better, probably the best AI in the Moto2 class now, so it will be worth keeping our eye on Vietti, but I completely bottled it. I've already lost the gap to him, so got to push the rest of the outlap to catch him back up. So we are then starting our lap. Vietti is a little bit up the road, but he's probably perfect distance for a marker. Definitely better than Sean Dillon Kelly was anyway. So we are up towards the line. We've gained right onto the back of Vietti. What's this time going to be? 207. 281. That actually beats what we did in Q1. So the marker definitely helped. I made a couple of little mistakes as well. But I tell you what, I'll be very, very surprised if that's not pole position. I'm pretty happy with that one. Because considering how the weekend was going, ended up in Q1, I thought I was going to be in trouble. But it looks like we are here, and we are here for the fight. So hopefully that's good enough for pole position. 0.8 of a second, I reckon it will be. To my surprise, it actually isn't. It actually isn't pole position. It's Aaron Canet on pole position, Sam Lowes in second place, and myself in third. So still a fantastic side position. We've met the qualifying objective. We're on the front row. We've beat our teammate as well, which is really good, because that is one of the development things as well, to beat them in qualifying and the race. So we've beat Joe Roberts there. So pretty much perfect, and I can't see any of our rivals anywhere near us. Where are they actually? Fernandez down in 11th place, and Chantra is down in 17th. So for us in the championship, it's looking pretty good. Like I said, the balance of power probably has shifted, and CANET has been obviously very good over the whole season, and especially during the period where they will have taken the performance from like a few races ago. So CANET was very strong for that period. Joe Roberts also, same with Acosta, and Fernandez was probably a little bit weaker, so perhaps they've turned Fernandez down a little bit there. So heading to the race now then, this could be interesting. A lot of fast guys at the front. I need to try and win, try and capitalise on my rival struggling a little bit in qualifying and probably potentially scoring less points of the race. So this could be a cracker. Let's get into it. I think they've changed this, because I feel like the riders used to have their visors down, visors up on the grid, sorry. But they've changed it to have them down, it seems now, which I think actually does look better. I'm not going to lie, it is an improvement, because obviously you could just see the generic faces, and obviously it doesn't look anything like the actual riders. So when they had the visor up, it looked a bit weird. We've even got our visor down now, so yeah, it definitely seems like they've changed that, and that probably is a change for the better, to be honest. Now, in terms of tyres, it is going to be a shorter race, but of course the track is still very long. Medium is probably the way to go. Yeah, the game seems to be suggesting that, so that's what I'll go with. Softs seem to work okay. Medium seemed fine in practice as well, so I reckon medium will be a safe tyre. So let's get this race started now then. We have had fantastic starts so far this season. However, in Termas, we didn't. We actually lost places off the start, so maybe the AI will be a little bit quicker off the line. We'll have to find out, but we know Sam is quick off the line, because he absolutely got an amazing start in Termas.
The race officials give the okay. Riders have their eyes fixed firmly on the lights. Just a few more seconds, and the Grand Prix of the Americas is go.
Sounds like the AI actually are revving their... Oh, what is that? There's some sort of weird glitch there, not sure what that was. But I was about to say, it sounds like the AI are actually revving their engines on the grid for once. But lights out and away we go. The launch has been pretty good from the AI, but from myself as well. So we go down towards the first corner. Got to try to hit that braking perfectly. This is a corner where you can easily get taken out, so we've got to be nice and careful. We've taken the lead going in. Are we going to lose it on the exit? CANET sweeps across the front of me. Lowe's tries to go through as well, but Lowe's is unable to do so. So we've dropped to second place, but can we get the run on CANET here into the S's on the inside? A bit of contact with CANET. I'm stuck on him. Oh, he's done a wheelie. I've done a wheelie. I've got to go across the track a little bit and wait for Aaron CANET. We've got to chat a bit warning, fair enough. We've come back in behind CANET. We were side by side with him when we went off the track, so I think that's fair. I've rejoined there, and I've had a penalty for it as well, a warning anyway. So I'll take that as gospel. We went for a bit. It was a bit ambitious, but I saw the gap there. I didn't want to get stuck behind. I wanted to try and pull a bit of a lead early on. There's been a crash behind. Sam Lowe's is right behind me as well. I'm a bit scared of the AI into these hairpins, because I do remember back to last year, Dennis Fodger got at the inside of me here. We're at the inside of CANET now, though. CANET just turns in like I'm not there. And that's 2 Charlotte's warnings on the first lap. But that time, I'm not taking any blame for that one. That was 100% CANET just turned in on me like I was not there at all. And I'm not happy about that. So we are going to try and go back at the Spaniard. We have got to watch out for Sam Lowe's. Sam Lowe's is right behind us, and he could easily overtake us if we do make a mistake. In fact, he's going to overtake me even if I don't make a mistake. So Sam Lowe's momentarily overtook us there, and then lost the front. No comment needed, I do believe. But either way, we are on the back of Aaron CANET. We've got Navarro behind us. We're actually in a pond sandwich right now. 4 attempts to CANET, 3 attempts back to Navarro. I still don't see any of my championship rivals in the decent position, so that is interesting. But you can see here how much the AI are gaining on me on the exits of the corners. Obviously, I can make it up over 1 lap with Power Mode 3, but I can't do that for too many laps, so we are going to have to push into the corners a lot more to try and gain this time back on Aaron CANET in front of us. I can use a little Power Mode 3 as well to try and keep up, but I've just got to watch out. Obviously, I don't want to run out of fuel. So that's the last corner. We are right there with CANET 2097 from a standing start. Not too bad, although, to be honest, at COTA, the standing start times are sometimes even the fastest ones because you are past the finish line. So we go into the first corner. I thought about a move up the inside of CANET there, but it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth going for anything too aggressive. I made a bit of a mistake with the S's. I got right up the back of CANET. I was just trying to find a way through. I took a bit of a different line to try and do that, and it cost me a little bit. But at the minute, we are fairly comfortable. I'm a little bit scared of Navarro because he's gained on me a little bit. I lost the front there. That was less comfortable. I do know that into turn 11 we will gain some time though, because they do break nice and early for turn 11. So Mechanic turned under me like I wasn't there on the previous lap. And once again, look, we've caught right up to the back of him. We're probably close enough to make a pass there. So it is worth noting that they will lose a lot of time there. So on lap 3, try and stick as close as we can through the exit of turn 10 and try and make that pass into 11. Because I think they've kind of got me after this. We've got half a second back to Navarro now, so we are pulling away from Jorge a little bit. So another crash, not sure who it is. Probably an AI at turn 12 again, going for a pass. But we're right there now with CANET. We are right on the back of CANET. We are really looking for a move. He's holding me up quite a bit. You can see we are pulling away from Navarro a bit as well now. So I think I found my stride a little bit. We seem to be able to use a lot of Power Mode 3 actually. You can see we're still at 1.4, even though I've used quite a bit of it so far. We've just got to stay with CANET here. Really, I want to try and pass him before Sector 1, because I reckon I can pull away from him if I can get in front of him before the S's. But they're very good through the end of Turn 1 and through Turn 2. It's just the brakes, really, where they are super weak, and then just the S section. That's, oh, a bit of a wheelie out the last corner, though. That's cost me a bit. So we're going to have to try and gain back onto the back of CANET through this first sector, very close in terms of lap times. But we are quicker than the rest of the field, so we are pulling away. Right, so we're right here with CANET on this occasion. There's been a crash behind, but I'm going to look for it into turn 11. We know we can outbrake CANET up the inside. There was a yellow flag board there, but that's definitely behind. The crash was definitely behind, so there should not have been a yellow flag going into that corner. So I'm not saying I made an illegal pass there. We've made a bit of a mistake on the exit, though, on the curb. That's allowed CANET straight back through. But this time, can we get the slipstream down towards turn 12 and try and make the pass there? It's one of those tracks where it's actually very surprisingly difficult to pass, even though there's a lot of hard braking zones. Very difficult to actually get it stopped into them. CANET's sort of moving us over a little bit. Fair play to CANET. Can we try and get the switch back? Oh, the power almost high side and a bit of a wheelie. We are trying to use so much Power Mode 3. There's been a crash behind. Chantra's now up into the top 8 because of that. Brought the inside of CANET. Once again, we're right there. We just can't find a way past Aaron here. He's defending very well whilst keeping the pace up. Because it's not like we're absolutely crawling. I just can't find a way past him whatsoever. He seems to just have me covered in the places where I keep thinking about the attack. I think my best chance is into turn 11. Obviously, we made it stick somewhat. If I broke a fraction earlier, I probably could pull it off. But the thing is, I just needed to make sure I actually got the move stuck, because I knew he'd just turn into me if I didn't get fully in front. Get through the last corner. He's not had the best run, whereas this time I actually have. So here we go then, up towards the line. We've done fastest lap of the race, 2:09.1. Up towards turn 1. Are we going to make the pass here on Aaron CANET? On the brakes at the inside, a little bit of contact. But I want to make this nice and aggressive to take the lead here of the USGP. He's back at the inside, a little bit of contact on the exit there from CANET, but I've got the inside through turn 2. I think we finally pulled it off on this occasion. Looks like it. So if we could... Oh no, CANET's come back on the inside, he's full commitment, but we've had a bit of contact. That's completely messed Aaron CANET up. That's really messed it, and he's down as well. I don't think that was my fault, that contact. You have to let me know, and I'll have to have a look on the replay. That's cost us a lot of time. Navarro is now only 3/10 of a second behind. But that battling cost us quite a bit there. But a little bit of contact as CANET tried to re-overtake. And down goes CANET. So a little bit controversial. But you can see his teammates right there to pick up the pieces. I'm getting a lot of deja vu to last year's race at this circuit in the Moto3 class, where we got caught right at the end. And they just slowly eased in on me. I don't want that to happen again. So starting the final lap, then we've managed to put that gap back out to about a second. But that's because Roberts and Navarro started battling a little bit. So Joe Roberts may have just done us a big favour here. But I'm not counting my chickens yet, because I reckon I might make... Well, I've just made a bit of a mistake there. But I reckon they're still going to catch me on this last lap. They were very strong on the last lap last year here. So here we go then. Into the final turn. We are going to win this USGP. What a battle it was with Aaron CANET. Unfortunate to end the way it did. And Navarro's crashed at the last corner. So it's going to be a 1-2 for Italtrans. What a race for us. So then a 1-2 in America for Italtrans. Myself 1 second clear of Joe Roberts in second place, with Iagora rounding out the podium. Notable to mention, Somkiat Chantra ended up in 6th place. Where did Fernandez end up? He's completely nowhere. 18th place, 5.7 seconds off. Well, I don't think that's far enough away. Actually, it probably is far enough away to say crash, because you can see 13th is Aaron CANET, 5 seconds away. But Fernandez was never there, so I think Augusto Fernandez may well have just been there out of pace. He may well have crashed as well, but whoa, what a race that was. It was quite a close pack, but they were sort of somewhat spread out, and you could see when me and CANET were leading the pace at the front, we were quicker. Although I'm pretty sure I did my fastest lap on the final lap of the race. So the AI, once again, really picking up the pace on the final lap, but it just wasn't quite enough to beat me on this occasion. So then, in the Riders' Championship, we've gone up to 75 points, now 19 points clear of Somkiat Chantra in second place, 31 clear of Fernandez in third, and 42 ahead of Agora in fourth. Joe Roberts actually moving up to 5th place as well, which is really nice to see. Always good to see your teammate doing pretty well as well. Cameron Bobier not having a good home race though, dropping down 3 spots. We also retake the lead in the Teams Championship as well, now 18 points clear of Honda Team Asia. Obviously, we've now got both of our teams really right up there. Obviously, we've got Chantra and Agora in the top 4, both of them. I've got myself first, and we've also got Joe Roberts right there as well. So, both of our teams doing pretty well there. Don't count out Red Bull KTM and don't count out Alpha Mart VDS either, because Sam Lowe is obviously unfortunate to crash in that race, making that pass on me on the opening lap. But he had the pace. He would have been there if it wasn't for that crash. So I think we'll have a little look at what happened between myself and CANET, and then we'll head back to the career hub, do everything we need to do, and then we can head into the next race at Portimao. So looking on board with Aaron CANET, and if we look from on board him, it's pretty much a carbon copy of the opening lap, but it's just the other way around on this occasion. However, I knew to just go straight over the chicane and just sort of lose the time, whereas CANET tries to rejoin over the curb, and that's actually the cause of the crash. I did think he'd crashed afterwards because we'd had the contact. Obviously, I saw him sort of lose the front. It's a bit of a save here, but I saw he was still upright at this point, but he's still trying to commit to the corner, and that's the problem. And then he goes off the track, tries to rejoin the track, bumps over the curb, and then just crashes. So very unfortunate there for CANET. Not a lot he could do. He should have just rejoined straight across like I did on the opening lap, because, to be honest, the collisions are almost the exact same. But we'll head back to the career hub now then, see what we got from this weekend, and then get ready for the Portuguese Grand Prix. So then, from that weekend, we gained 9,000 reputation, which takes us up to 120,000 reputation exactly. As for the credits, another good weekend there, 13,890, which takes us up to 315,437. As for the development tests, actually wasn't too bad, because I did well in qualifying the race, got through to Q2, so I only missed out on race pace, clean up with long lap penalty, and setup improvements. So overall, we got half of them, not too bad. So we got 590 on the engine, 1,000 on the chassis, and 790 on the electronics. So there's nothing we can do at this point, so we've just got to advance forward to the Portuguese Grand Prix. We've now got a notification on the headquarters. That is just the engine upgrade being complete, I believe. So we should have a little bit more power in this race. We've not got enough to do any more upgrades on that one, so that's the only thing of note going into this GP. So let's keep it going. Let's try and keep this win streak going. We're at 2 in a row so far. Portimao, been a track where I've been very strong in the past. The AI were a little bit bugged here in Moto3. They crashed a lot at one corner. Whether that's been fixed or not, I'm not too sure, or whether that just doesn't happen in Moto2, again, I'm not too sure. So I guess we'll have to find out. But I do like this track, so I'm hoping that we can have a good race here, and hopefully it is another good battle, just like in the US. But without any further ado, we'll head into this weekend then. Hopefully it's a good one. So then, at the end of that first free practice session, we were actually top of the timesheets ahead of Augusto Fernandez in second place by a tenth of a second, with Celestino Vietti in third, and actually Jake Dixon in fourth place. So some of the riders that struggled a little bit in the last race are a bit more up there. Obviously, Fernandez being the main guy for that. He struggled a lot in Austin, and now he seems to be a little bit more back on form. So this will make qualifying quite interesting. Hopefully we'll get straight through. We should do. We've got the pace, so I'm hoping we do go straight through. We've got a bit more time on the table as well, because this was actually a medium lap, although it was still power 3, so not too much more, but there should be a little bit more with the soft tyre in qualifying. So we are here in Q2, but once again we've been jumped by Sam Lowes and Aaron Canet, just like in Austin qualifying. They've jumped ahead of us in the free practice sessions. But coming through Q1 then, we've got Joe Roberts, our teammate, obviously doing very well in the last race, Kenneth Kubo, Fermin Aldeguer, who also went to Q1 in the last episode, and Marcel Schrotter, who was pretty quick in FB1 in the last race, but I noticed that she finished last place in the race, so very interesting there for Marcel. Now, like I said before, of course, I was on mediums in practice, so soft should give us a little bit more lap time. This is a track where, you know, it's quite flowing. You are going to gain quite a bit, I think, from the soft tyre. Power 3 is also worth quite a lot. You just got to manage the wheelies over the crests when you've got Power Mode 3 on. I mean, it's bad enough with Power Mode 2. With Power Mode 3, you are going to wheelie a lot, so you've got to manage the wheelie a lot with a bit of back brake and a bit of letting off the throttle. But we'll head out onto the track now then. And hopefully we can try and secure yet another pole position. We've got Sam Lowes in front of us. That's probably a good marker. Obviously, he was very fast. I'm not sure. I think he started second place, didn't he, in Austin? It was CANET actually on pole position. And unfortunately, his race came to a very early end on lap 1. So we'll be hoping for a little bit of a better one in this one. But I'm sure he'll be right up there in qualifying. So we will really have to watch out for our fellow Brit in this one. Of course, we do have that engine upgrade that came in at the end of the last race, so we should have a little bit more power in this race than in the last one. But honestly, so far from what I could see in practice, it didn't seem to make a massive difference. AI still had quite a power advantage, so we've got to push it through some of the more sweeping corners and on the brakes. Sector 1, we have so much time with AI. I'm pretty sure I'm about 7 tenths quicker than them in Sector 1, and it's a really short sector. Obviously, that's mainly down to the fact they brake so early on this game, but yeah, we've got to try and exploit that. Definitely in the race, obviously in qualifying, doesn't really matter where you're quicker as long as it's over the whole lap. There's been a crash, and it is Lowes in front. He has clipped the curb. So we've got to watch out for him rejoining. He's not going to rejoin in front of us, so that's absolutely fine. So that's the first glimpse I've had of the AI doing something a little bit silly. Portimao is very well known for, in the MotoGP games, the AI just crashing on the curb, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen again in this race, because that does kind of ruin the races. I did see a Renas crash at turn 3 in free practice, but that was basically the only crash I witnessed, but there was a lot of yellow flags, so I'm hoping that there's not a massive issue with them crashing on the curbs, but I guess it will remain to be seen until we get to the race. We'll go through the last corner then, try and get a good exit to start this lap. We've got to make sure it's a good one. Sort towards the line then. Kubo's currently on pole position with a 43.8. This will be the first representative time though, up towards the line from myself, 43.3. So 4 tenths clear of Kubo. So we lost a lot of time in the last couple of sectors. And obviously it is only Kenneth Kubo. So there will be improvements for the other AI. Lowes 13 thousandths behind after his crash as well. Although he's just crashed again. And CANET's now gone top as well, 52 thousandths clear. Though I'm going red in the first sector once again. Well, I've made a big mistake through turn 5, so that's our lap done. But it does seem like it is us three once again, the class of the field, myself, CANET and Lowes, battling for pole position. Fernandez and Agora have just improved, so I'm now down to 4th place. So I've got a bit more time to find. I'd come out again just to try and find that half a tenth, but now it's 6 tenths of a second that Agora and Fernandez have just jumped ahead by, so we could be in a little bit of trouble here. So at the last corner, I've not quite found 6 tenths, I found 1 tenth. So it should jump us ahead of CANET, but Vietti and Roberts have also improved, and that's a shame because I really needed to beat Joe Roberts for the objective, for the extra research data. Unfortunately, we're still 5th for now. I'm going to keep going, but the rear tyre is gone, and I've actually gone on the green, although I've got away with it. But that's the lap ruined either way, but the rear tyre is completely gone, so I might have to change for a medium and give that one a go. The soft front seems okay. Oh, Aldeguer's just fell off. Lowe's down in 7th place, so we also in front of Lowe's. Lowe's ran a bit wide following Aldeguer there. So at the last corner, coming up towards the line for one last attempt at this on the medium tyre. We're down to 7th place, so this really needs to count. Up towards the line, 33 thousandths underneath, so this should improve me ahead of Vietti, but I don't know about Roberts. I'll tell you what, that was close. I was 2 thousandths away from Vietti, so I know if I improved by the amount I was improving by, I would jump ahead of him. But I also jumped ahead of Roberts and Beaubier. That's how close this grid was. So we've got up to 4th place. Can't complain too much about that one. But 2 of my biggest rivals are starting ahead of me. Augusto Fernandez on pole position and Iagora in 2nd. So it's imperative we get off to a good start tomorrow. Fernandez absolutely class of the field there, 42.6. No one's even anywhere near that. You can see I'm pretty close to the back of CANET and Agora, only a couple of attempts off them. But Augusto Fernandez, he was pretty clear of everybody else. So fair play to him there. Definitely bouncing back from that poor weekend in Austin. So we'll head into the race now then. This could be interesting because we do need to try and capitalise, try and get past these guys because they are obviously in front of us. But at the same time, we can probably afford to finish 2nd because we've got a decent buffer. But it is too early in the season to be thinking like that. So we've still got to keep going for wins. We've got to try and beat both these guys. So I'm going to give it everything I've got. Hopefully, if we get a good start, we'll be right in the mix. So we're down here on the grid then in 4th position. Obviously, the tyre choice, that should be pretty basic. Should just be medium again, as it usually is. I should be perfectly fine around this circuit because the tyre wear around here is actually not too bad, doesn't seem. The rear does get a little bit chewed up, especially in qualifying, but in practice it seemed fine. So I think the medium should be absolutely fine. I'm not sure how this race is going to go because it's not the most easy track in the world to pass on. Obviously, I've got the first sector as an advantage for me, so that's good. But we saw in Austin that having that advantage on the brakes is not quite enough sometimes. You can gain all of the time back on the brake, but you literally just caught up to them after the section you go through, so it'll be interesting. I think I've got a little bit more of a chain of sectors that I'm good through. I think like sort of sector 1, the beginning of sector 2, I'll have the advantage, but we'll just have to see, and really it all comes down to the start. If we get another good start, then that just sets us up for a good race.
At Portimao, everything's ready for the start of the race and the adrenaline's running high. There's only room for one thought in the riders' minds: to make it to the finish line first.
Yeah, it's quite cool. They've actually made the AI rev on the line now, so it's not just completely silent when you don't rev. We're waiting for the lights to go out here then at Portimao. Lights out and away we go. The AI have got a good initial jump, but once again, they get a really poor second phase of the start, and we've launched past all of them to go to turn 1. Obviously, spotting that braking point for turn 1 on the first lap is difficult because it's completely different. You approach it at a completely different speed than you would any other racing lap. It's like basically halved, if not even more than that. We've taken the lead then immediately. Agora is 2nd, CANET's 3rd. Augusto Fernandez, who needed really to capitalise on that pole position, has dropped all the way to 4th place. It's not been a good start for Augusto, but it's been a fantastic start for me. We've completely swapped positions, the 2 of us. So at this rate, we've got to watch out for Agora more than anybody, because of course he is 4th in the championship currently. He's very close to Augusto Fernandez. Chantra, once again, seems to be having a poor weekend, so I think it does seem like they probably have nerfed Chantra's AI a little bit, so probably we'll see him fall out of the championship fight, unfortunately for him. But of course they have updated it in line with real life. Bit of a wheelie, bit of a crash behind as well. So that does tell me there is going to be some crashes in this race. And that's the section where it can happen. Definitely I've made a bit of a mistake. It's a Portimao corner. Is that going to allow Agora at the inside? Agora's at the inside. So is CANET. I've had to sit the bike up a bit. That's going to allow Augusto Fernandez through as well. So just as I was saying, I'm in the driving seat and I've got the position over Augusto Fernandez. I immediately lose it by making a mistake all of my own making there. We've got Cameron Beaubier right behind us as well, who had a bit of a poor race back in USA, and he comes up the inside, so I really need to stop insulting the other riders because they just pass me immediately. But we're back up the inside of Cam Beaubier. That's what we need to see, a bit of aggression from myself. And through this final corner, I'm sure he's going to get the switch back on me. I'm going to use a bit of Hammer 3 here, so now you can get a good run out of here on the AI, although to be honest, they have exited the corner very nicely, and I will have a big advantage on the brakes into turn 1, so I'm going to have to watch out for that one, 100%. They've braked already. In fact, I've braked so early just to match them because I don't want to hit them at the back. So they've probably actually gained a little bit. I still hit them mid-corner. Why is he going so slow mid-corner? Really shows you where some of their time is being lost over the lap. A massive moment on the curb. They've all gone so wide through turn 3. They've all ran so wide, and we've got the lead back. Agora's still at the inside. We're going to hang it around the outside of Iagora. He's a little bit of Palmo 3. A bit of contact with Agora. Oh, that was very bad. Apologies to Apologies to Agora for that one. Really, really big hit. That was completely my fault. But the AI just went so wide through turn 3. I've got a little bit wide through turn 5, but you literally can't turn in anymore for turn 5. It's like a lock that stops you turning in more. It's like a limit to the amount of turning. It's similar at Catalonia turn 10 as well. And I also noticed that AI had the same thing. I've picked up a track limits warning. So it's been a bit scrappy so far this race, but Agora's looking to take the lead back again. This is the section where he took it on the previous lap when I made a bit of a mistake. Whoa! Whoa, speaking of mistakes, almost fell off the back of the motorcycle there with a massive wheelie. Went out side by side with Aaron CANET. CANET's trying to hang it around the outside. I'm on the inside. Trying to squeeze CANET out a little bit. Aldeguer's had a crash. There's been a couple of crashes behind. But we're now down to third place. We're closing up to CANET again on the inside of Aaron CANET. So that's 2 races in a row. We're having a really good battle with the Spaniard. But we're up to second position now then. So Agora is in the lead, but Agora is going to pull away at this rate if we're not careful. If we keep scrapping myself and CANET, we need to try and reel back in Agora because he's clearly got the pace. Obviously, I made a huge mistake there. I got so lucky. I thought I was down. I honestly thought I'd crashed the bike. Just got out the throttle quickly enough to not quite fall off the back. But it's a huge wheelie, huge mistake. We made a lot of mistakes so far in this race. It is one of those tracks where it's so tricky and it's so easy to make a little bit of a mistake. But we'll have to see if the AI go wide into turn 3 again on this occasion. It seems like they have. Agora's gone completely off the track. Agora's crashed! Agora's just crashed! He's gone completely off the track and crashed! Well, I tell you what, the AI really needs some work around this circuit. I said it last year in the Moto3, well not last year, I said it in the last season in the Moto3 race. I probably did say it last year to be fair, because the same thing happened in MotoGP 21 as well, but they need to sort the AI out of this track, because why did Agora do that? That's 2 laps in a row. They've run ridiculously wide through there, but CANET all of a sudden is now attacking me. Again, I thought it was going to be a carbon copy of the previous race, a bit of contact, and that was going to be the result of CANET down, but we've gone a little bit wide again because it put me off a bit, and we've lost a load of position, so we're back down to 4th place once again. So the AI definitely have the advantage through this section. That's sure they can turn so much tighter. We've now got Vietti on the inside as well. Vietti's clipped the curve, Vietti's down. So this is all kicking off here, and I feel like I'm somewhat of a cause of all the incidents that are happening. But really, I'm just riding my own race. The AI just being really strange. And now I know basically if I can stay on the back of the top 3 through the first couple of corners, I will pass them because they will run wide at turn 3. Although we've now got Navarro back up the inside. So I'm clearly struggling there. Navarro's now stuck on the outside. And we've now got Joe Roberts on the inside. Sam Lowe's is coming as well. We're back up the inside of Joe Roberts. Look at this race. What a scrap. The AI clearly have got the pace on this occasion. I am the slow one. But we're all making mistakes at different places. To be fair, I didn't make too much of a mistake on this lap. It was more I just got attacked and then was on a bad line for pretty much the rest of the track. Because, of course, it's one of those tracks where it really flows one corner to another. But you can see the pace is nowhere compared to what we were doing in qualifying and practice. They've ran wide again through this corner. CANET almost did the gravel on that occasion. But we actually haven't been able to take advantage and take the position back. So this could be it for the AI. This could be crucial. If they can keep the lead, they might be able to hang on to it, because they may be able to pull enough of a gap to do that again on the next lap. Oh, Bobier's down! A massive crash for Cameron Bobier! And that's really... I've had to avoid that one. That's put me on again on an incorrect line. I tell you what, that might have just been what Fernandez and CANET needed. CANET looking over his shoulder, he would have heard the thud of Bobier's bike. That was a huge accident for Bobier. Seems like the AI really loved touching that curb, and it absolutely sends him off. I touched it a little bit and almost did it, and then I saw Bobier crashing because I was too busy looking at my own bike trying to catch the sort of slide that I put myself into. That's put me back up to 3rd place. We should be secure with that position, but I think that may have just given CANET and Augusto Fernandez what they needed, because I was actually keeping up with them on this lap, but that really just broke the toe. And I think on this occasion, they're probably going to keep the lead through turn 3 again, and that's probably it for my attempt at winning this race. Again, they've ran really wide. This time Augusto Fernandez has actually crashed, and we're right on the back of Aaron CANET. We're going to be on the inside of Aaron CANET. We've had contact with Aaron CANET. Oh, okay. I'm going to let CANET back through because I feel a little bit bad about that one. But that's allowed Jorge Navarro to catch up. Come on, CANET. Come through, man. Try and let Aaron CANET back through. That's allowed Jorge Navarro to close right up to the back. I'm not sure whether I really needed to let CANET through there, because I did stick my nose up the inside genuinely, and he was the one rejoining from off circuit, but I just felt a little bit harsh. I kind of punted him out of the way, so I just thought I'd let him back through. But we've really put ourselves in a danger zone here with having Navarro right behind us. About to start the final lap of the race, and we're 7/10 of a second behind. Usually you'd say that's race over, but with this race so far, it's definitely not over, especially with turn 3. We know he's going to run wide there again because they've run wide there every lap. And on this occasion, he made a bit of a mistake through turn 1 as well. That might have just put me in the driving seat as we go into turn 3. He's run a bit wide. He's run super wide. He's lost the front. He's down. CANET's crashed from the lead once again. Obviously, we had contact last time. Well, I suppose actually he was second place when he crashed last time, but there was contact battling for the lead last time. This time, he crashes all on his own accord. And we've just got to be careful and bring this one on home. We've got to watch out for Navarro, though. I know he's going to be nice and strong, and he's right there still, so this is not over yet. There goes Navarro. Navarro's managed to pass me here, so Navarro could be on for his first race win of the season. He's managed to go past me like we're standing still once again. We're struggling so much through that section of the track. They are just gaining yards and yards on me, and we're closing up to Navarro, but is it going to be enough? Are we going to have to go for it into the penultimate turn? I've lost the rear. I've not got the drive. Are we going to look for the inside of the penultimate turn, but it's not close enough to make that pass? It would have been really, really overly aggressive. But can we do anything about Navarro? Can we get him on the run to the line? We know it's a long run to the line out this last corner because it's not quite in the correct position. It's where the start line is. So here we go through the final turn, then on the power. Navarro seems to have got it here, but could we do anything as we come on towards the line? We're going to get that slipstream. I think Navarro is going to win his first race of the season. On towards the line we go. Are we going to beat him? Almost so close, but Navarro wins. Ahead of myself in second position. The AI were just so fast in this race. We actually got very lucky. They kept running wide at turn 3, because otherwise we'd have been absolutely nowhere. Second position, I'll absolutely take that one, because none of my title rivals beat me either. It's just Navarro. You can see Chantra is in 6th place. So Chantra, to be fair, has actually not done too bad out of this one. But I tell you what a race that was. The AI's pace was phenomenal. They had so much more drive to that middle sector. It does help they've got more power than me anyway. They seem to have more grip. I think it's because they have all the electronics on as well. So they also have anti-wheelie, traction control. So out of the corners, they hook up better because they've got traction control. Over the crests, they don't wheelie. They don't have to get out the throttle. So it's worth so much time. I was trying to make it all up sort of in the first sector and in sort of the penultimate and third from last corners just on the brakes. And unfortunately, this wasn't quite enough. But Navarro managed to mug me on this occasion, so fair play to him. Augusto Fernandez still ended up in 14th, so he's picked up 2 points. That could be crucial for the championship. But none of my other rivals seem to have scored any points. So, yeah, Iagora finishing 31st there. So, again, the AI just crashing at this circuit. It's so frustrating to see this happen every single time. This time it was a different reason, but it doesn't make it any better. So, hopefully Milestone can fix this, but they haven't fixed it so far. So, I can't see it being fixed in this game cycle now. Moving on to the championship standings then, we actually extend our lead to 29 points ahead of Somkiat Chantra, so over a race win's worth now, with Jorge Navarro moving himself up to 3rd place as well. So Navarro actually is becoming a championship contender, moving ahead of Augusto Fernandez. Iagora in 5th place, Joe Roberts moves back down to 6th, and Ben Schneider actually 7th. I'm interested to see where CANET is, because CANET has never been the fastest AI of this episode entirely. He's down in 16th place with 12 points. So CANET, he could be amazing for the rest of the season, but he's already 83 points down. So he's already out of this championship. This is going to be one of those years where, like, I might not win much now from this point onwards. The AI might be able to beat me at some tracks. And, like, there might be one AI that consistently beats me in a lot of races, but he's just so far behind, he's just not going to be able to do anything. So in the Team Championship then, we've actually extended our lead ahead of Idemitsu Honda Team Asia in 2nd place. Red Bull KTM IO still sat there in 3rd. Flexbox HB14 move up to 4th, and Mandalika Pertamina SAG move up to 5th position. We'll head back to the career hub now, round off the episode, but what a good one it's been. What a good episode to return to career mode with. So from that weekend then, we gained 9,000 reputation, which takes up to 129,000 exactly. As for the credits, we gained 13,290, which takes us up to 327,427 credits. As for the development test, it was a pretty decent weekend there, only missing out on 2 of the objectives, one of them being mapping management, and that's just doing laps in each fuel mode, and the only one we didn't do that with was power mode 1. But to be honest, same with the clean out with long lap penalty. I don't want to spend too much time in practice. I don't want to spend my whole day just doing free practice for the career mode, so I'll do the main objectives. I'll do enough to get through to qualifying 2. But I'm not going to do too many more than that. We've now got 783 on the engine, 1,820 on the frame, and 983 on the electronics. And we've actually got a notification here. We actually have enough now to upgrade the frame, so we can actually get this tyre consumption reduction. Well, to be honest, we've not been struggling with tyre wear particularly, but we'll stick it on anyway. There's no reason why we shouldn't do that. We can also stick the engine people back on the research. I just realised I never did that when that engine upgrade came in just before this race. So we've lost a week of research data production there, but we can stick all of the engine people back on the research data production. But there we go. That's all 4 of them back on that. And then there's no other notifications, so that pretty much brings this episode to a close. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that one. A pretty wild race. In fact, two pretty wild races. We had two fantastic battles that are in CANET. Two battles with a Pons bike as well, really, because we also had a little battle with Navarro at the end. We had some good scrapping. It was clean. There was a bit of contact a couple of times. I made some contact with CANET. He made some contact with me. I tried to be as fair as possible whenever I'd made the contact, but the AI do just turn in like you're not there. So there only is so much you can do. Especially, you know, at Portimao, so they come back from off track. I just went up the inside because there's a gap there, and I've got a lot more speed because I've stayed on the circuit. And they just tip in like you're not there. It is a little bit silly, but, you know, it's just the AI in this game. And, yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't take up too much time to talk about the AI. You guys know my opinions on the AI on GP22. So we'll end off the episode there. So like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all safe, and I shall see you in the next one.